So, Nick, it's been a while since we've seen you in the director's seat. Did this feel like the right time, or was there something particular, something special about this project that really made you want to dive back into the helm?
Yeah, well, I'm not really aware of the time because I've been working with Mark Burton, the writer, and the development team for so many years on this film. I wasn't really aware of how much time had gone by. But yeah, myself and us at Aardman, we're always, for our next film, we're always looking for that quirky, like the special idea, that something that grabs you and makes you want to make the film. And for this, it was, had this idea about a caveman movie for a long time. I've always had it in me to want to make a film about prehistoric people. But always looking for that, what makes it different? It's not just another caveman adventure. And it was when I came up with this idea about what if they invented sport, the way they're always holding clubs in Gary Larson cartoons and what have you. And I started doodling and sketching. What if they played sport? And how about football? And it's got such a big tribal element. It seemed to fit, and just ran with it from there. Really, it seemed to have I'd never seen a prehistoric underdog sports movie before, so that really appealed to me.
Great. You've won a whopping 4 Oscars, and all of your projects generally are received with universal acclaim. What kind of level of expectation does that kind of put on you when you bring in a new project to the
Yeah. Well, it's wonderful to be recognised, with any accolade, by your fellow, by your peers. It's you can't underestimate, what that means. But at the same time, I feel like you've got to separate yourself, and not, you can end up doing it for that, expecting or hoping to get that kind of a recognition, and one has to sort of separate oneself and do it purely for the joy, really, and it's really about being that you can give in. I mean, the pressure can make you, drive with your foot on the brake. You have to just free yourself from that and just do it for the love of it. And for here, we're aiming to make something original and funny and inventive, and that's what's got to come first.
Okay. And you've got a whole new set of brand new characters here. How much fun was it coming up with them? And did you ever miss kind of Wallace and Gromit? And
Yeah, I always miss Wallace and Gromit. They're kind of in me. They're kind of part of my DNA, really, and I think I'd love to go back to them at some point. It'd have to be a good idea. I've got a couple in the back of my head, but what attracted me about this was the challenge, really, of creating an entirely new world with brand new characters, but that's also the challenge. How do you do that with a clean sheet, and how do you get the audience to invest in them from as early as possible? You've got, in a feature film, you've got sort of 10 minutes to do that, to get people invested. And that takes a lot of storytelling skill and craft. And I'm just glad I had some really good people around me.
And you've pulled together this incredible ensemble cast. How important were they to the production, and did any of the characters' kind of characteristics in your head before meeting your cast, did they change and develop?
Yeah. I mean, choosing the voice cast is always so important in all Aardman films, and it's got to have. I do sometimes just see big names on animated films, and I think, why have they cast that person? And so each one has found its peculiar quality, and that's what we're looking for, is some peculiar, special quality in each person. The quality of Maisie's voice, or Eddie, or and to be a bit surprising, perhaps. Who would expect Tom Hiddleston, to play a large, rotund French buffoon of a villain? I like to be a bit surprising in the casting, and he's brilliant, by the way. And the way Eddie, I love the way he sounds. I was looking for a sort of dishevelled teenager, and he has that sort of vulnerability, and even the way he performed the characters was a bit, in an endearing way, quite shambolic. He was doing it deliberately, but it just fitted the caveman I was after. And he said, how old do you want the character? And well, about 15. And he suddenly went to like 15, and brilliant. And sometimes the way he'd hold his mouth, you know, the way he'd talk, oh, hobnob, you know, or whatever. And it's just the way he pulled his mouth up at one side. We then put that into Doug, and that helped it sort of match and marry quite well.
Great. Thanks very much.
Pleasure, yeah.